Hi everyone, welcome back to the Celebrity Status channel. Please like and subscribe.
Morning.
Good morning.
How you feeling about the race today?
I'm not feeling.
Here we go, on the way to the Helvetia Half. And just some context for those of you who maybe didn't read our book or don't know the story. 12 years ago, the summer of 2011, Jeremy and I were not dating, but we were friends.
We were intense friends.
Intense enough for Jeremy to put on his Vibram 5 shoes and run a half marathon at the chance of seeing me. Run close because this is the race.
How do I get this?
That way, we'll go to the stadium. Anyway, so the story goes, Jeremy did not have running shoes. He was not a runner, had never run, really, ever. And he put on the Vibram 5 Finger. It was like barefoot shoes. Apparently Jeremy was still into grounding 12 years ago in a different way. And decided to run the race starting, did you start at the starting line or driving?
Yeah, I went to the stadium and I did the whole thing.
Okay, didn't enter, but just decided to join everybody. Somehow ended up with a medal and crossed the finish line, but so far behind me that we never even saw each other in the race. This race has actual flip, so that means that he was at least 4 miles behind me because there's a 2 mile out, 2 mile back, like flip turnaround, and I never saw him and he never saw me. Anyways, we wrote the story in our book. Jeremy ran a half marathon for me, and here we are, 12 years later. We have never run this race together. So I've run the Helvetia Half 3 times, I think, twice before knowing you. And we've, all right, how you feeling 12 years later, race day?
I mean, I feel like I'm in definitely better shape than I was before overall, but
You're a runner now.
I'm not prepared for this one. Like, I literally flew in last night and haven't ran in a little while, so.
Yeah, we're doing this one for fun, for the story, for nostalgia's sake, and because the race is literally our backyard now, so we just figured we gotta do it. We're off to a good start.
I'm sore. All right, marriage thought number 1, principle of sharing. Find something you can do together, you can share together, and continue doing it. It'll act like gravity, slowly pulling you closer together over time.
And mile 2, be a student, never stop learning. There's always more to learn about each other. This is why we love the marriage journal so much, because you ask 6 questions every week and your answers are never the same. Sometimes they are, but usually not. And the desire to always learn a new version of your spouse every year is one thing that keeps your marriage healthy.
Mile number 3, thought number 3, pursue oneness over correctness. Sometimes the right decision or the correct way to go, although it might be correct, we believe being unified in whatever direction you head is more important, even if it's a little bit off what might be correct, because the pursuit of unity will eventually steer you totally correct and you'll be unified in that pursuit.
Past the turn off to our house. You want to go home?
Yeah,
that way.
I do.
We're not at mile 4 yet, but coming up on a monumental landmark.
Home turf, baby.
There you go. Mile 4, going off what Jared just said. It's the goal of unity. It's always good to have a code of conduct for your conflict. So some type of boundaries or things that you won't say or agree to not doing when you're in conflict really helps.
All right, mile 5, thought 5. Don't ever lose your habit of common courtesy. There's the Psychology of Friendship article I read a while ago, and it was talking all about how respect in a friendship is maintained, one of the ways, through common courtesies, like thank you, you're welcome, please, just simple ways to daily deposit respect into the relationship. So don't ever lose the common courtesies for each other.
Wow. Mile 6. Here we go.
Wow.
Yeah, 82.
At mile 6, what kind of story do you want? What kind of love story you want? This is a question that really motivated us. We talk about it a lot in our book, but
The concept, let's say you're driving to work. You picture yourself 10 years in the future driving to work,
what kind of story do you
and
want?
you're listening to a podcast about your love story. Do you like what you're hearing? If not, only one person can change it. That's you. No piece of advice, no book, no nothing. Just think about your love story. What do you want it to be?
And one of the things that pushes you outside of that is not always doing what's convenient and comfortable, but challenging yourself, going for the adventure, doing something spontaneous, even if that means waking up early with not as much training after a week of travel to run out.
It's always hard. It's all.
Here's the turnaround that we missed each other at last time.
Hi. Thank you.
Woohoo! Here we go, mile 7. Okay, mile 7. Add these 3 things into your marriage, or try to keep them in your marriage. Spontaneity, suspense, and surprise. And the idea is, don't get lazy or complacent. Try new things. Be spontaneous together. It's gonna look different in different seasons, but add elements of surprise into your marriage, like surprise each other. Don't stop surprising each other. I think a lot of times we stop doing that when we get married.
A lot of the guys out there think, like, yes, rhythms are good, healthy patterns of life are good, but like bust them up every now and then.
Yeah.
Load the kids, go to the beach, random things, because those are more often than not the stories you actually think about 10 years from now.
Going off of mile 6's nugget.
Mile 8.
All right, another landmark for us is right here, coming up on the railroad tracks. Is where we got in a motorcycle accident.
Audrey bought me a motorcycle for my birthday.
My first ride on it.
Her first ride on it.
Breakfast. Country road.
Someone turned into us here. Audrey dislocated her shoulder. There's the whole thing.
Never got on a motorcycle again.
Right here. Okay, marriage thought for mile 8. Something that's really helped me is just recognizing and understanding the ego. And an easy way to kind of think about that is you, the you, sees the world through glasses. That is your ego. Layers and, you know, perceptions and stigmas, and your wife also has an ego. So these are how you interpret and filter the world, also how the world kind of sees you. So understanding that you have that, well, you can start to adjust it and recognize, like, oh wow, I might have been angry towards my wife, but that has more to do about how I'm seeing the world than it does who my deepest self is, which is the one seeing the world through the ego.
And helps break down pride a little.
Pride shattering, really powerful concept that's extremely biblical and been amazing for us.
All right, mile 9. We're on an uphill, so we're a little out of breath. Thought 9. Always kiss goodnight. Jeremy and I are going on 9 years of marriage, and we kiss goodnight every single night that we've been together. And one thing I want to add to that is try to go to bed together when you can. I know that's not always possible for everyone's marriage, but when you're together and it is possible, go to bed together. Good things happen. And always kiss goodnight, babe.
My grandpa Knight, married 60 years. He said one of the most important things for his 60-year marriage was that they physically recognized their love with a kiss every night. All right, mile 10, thought 10. Have a mission or a focus for the marriage besides the marriage. Like, marriage meets so many personal inward needs, but there's also outward purpose for it. So, you know,
Like sports teams.
yeah, like every sports team, business, org, they all have missions, visions, and purpose besides the players. So in your marriage, what's your purpose besides the marriage itself?
All right, mile 11, we're almost there.
Mile 11, thought 11.
We think this is a crucial thing
I think
for modern marriages.
these days it is absolutely essential that your marriage has a time where you're not on your phones.
Whether that's date night,
collectively.
Sabbath, after 10:30 at night, whatever it is, but a time that you've agreed to not be sitting next to each other.
Attention is our currency, and your spouse deserves your currency, your attention, like undevotedly at some point throughout the week.
Here we go, mile 12. What is it?
It is have marriage parents. Someone that you can go to ask questions, process the difficulties, the joys, the hurts.
They can pray for your marriage.
Understand the dynamic with. Someone that's wiser than you, basically.
Not quite to mile 13 yet, but just ran by the water station. Some sweet girls like, always more, Audrey. We've also had some beating 50 fans cheering us on. So it's been fun. Okay. We're almost to mile 13. Recording this one a little bit early. Hear the cowbells. Mile 13 nugget is don't be afraid of being cheesy. Sometimes being cheesy holds you back from the story, holds you back from knowing each other more, holds you back from spontaneity, suspense, and surprise, holds you back from so many things we already talked about. And you know what? You might think it's cheesy that we're out here running 13 miles talking about marriage, but
we're doing it.
We're doing it. And we're gonna have a story to tell. And here's the cowbells. We're almost up. Here we go.
Here we go. Let's go, babe.
Woo.
Hey.
Jeremy Roloff.
Woo.
Hey, hold on.
All right, still in my running stuff. We just got home. Jared went to go pick up the kids from my parents, but got roped into a farming conversation over there. Anyways, I wanted to address a couple things that I've been getting a lot of questions on after the race. One, we did not, well, first of all, Jeremy did not run the race barefoot. He just took his shoes off right afterwards. So everyone asking about that in the picture, he just took them off so he can ground immediately after the race. Second thing is we did not predetermine that we were going to do this until last night. We decided, oh, it'd be fun to share a little like marriage nugget every mile. And then we did not know what each marriage thought was going to be until the mile that we were running before we said the thought. So we kind of came up with them on the fly, literally as we were running. So a lot of you are asking like where you can find them. I'll save them all to a highlight. Maybe I can write them out at some point. But those are just the ones that we felt prompted to share today when we were running.